Hello and welcome to another episode of Words with Myself. I am not a particularly patient person, and part of the requirement of patience is an element of trust. And oftentimes it can be quite difficult to trust, and we can get this sense that we need to control a situation. We need to take action. We need to force something to happen, when in actuality, sometimes all we need is an element of patience and trust to take the required action, but once the required action is taken, to allow the natural process to unfold. But we can get caught in this trap of feeling like we're never doing enough. And that comes from feeling like we aren't seeing the results as fast as we want to, that things aren't coming our way. And that distance, that gap between what we're doing and the actions that we're taking and the end result, we can feel like in that limbo state that the end result is not going to come. Because we're not seeing the results at the pace that we expect it to, we can then feel like, well, the results aren't going to happen at all. And in reality, that's far from true. In fact, I would actually go as far as to say that sometimes the letting go part, the relinquishing of control, and the stepping in to trust is actually the only blocker from the result manifesting. That the constant pushing, the thrashing around and the fighting, that is actually the block between getting what you want and not a lack of action. But this is far from how society is currently framing it. We are living in a time where we believe that if we don't have what we want, all we need to do is more. Try harder, put more effort in, spend more time, and then it will come. And I have subscribed to this for a very long time. I can be working really, really hard, and I can see what I want. I know in my head what the desired outcome is. And yet, I know that I'm working towards it. I know I'm putting in the effort. Yet, I can feel like I'm just not doing enough. And I know that it's never enough. That there's only so much time in a day. You only get the same amount of minutes as everyone else. So there is a finite amount of stuff that you can do. But in my head, I feel like I'm not doing enough. That if I can just work harder, if I can just do more, if I can take no breaks and no sleep, then it will come. But it doesn't always come. Or if it does come, it comes at the time it was always going to. Like, it arrives when it is supposed to arrive. And I realised that no matter how hard I thrashed or struggled or worked, it was going to work out like that, irregardless. So it begs the question, why was I putting so much stress on myself? Why was I fighting so hard for something that was already mine? It was already going to happen. It was already done. And I knew that I was taking the actions that I needed to take. It wasn't like I was being lazy or avoiding something. I felt that it wasn't coming quick enough. I wasn't getting to the goal quick enough. But I know in myself that I can pick up something completely new and expect myself to be really good at it. And if I'm not good at it immediately, I get all worked up and frustrated. Because in my head, the relative time to how I feel like I should be progressing is a lot shorter than how the natural order of things should be going. And if it wasn't, then it would be going at exactly the rate that it needs to. But we don't trust this. We don't trust ourselves and we don't trust the universe. We feel like there is a problem, that something is not happening or something needs to be done. We feel like we dictate when the right time is. We dictate the pace that things should be occurring. When I want to manifest something, it should be coming to me now. And if it doesn't come to me now, it's because I'm not doing something. I'm not working hard enough. I'm not manifesting hard enough. I'm not pure enough in my intention. There's a problem here. There's something to be done. When in actual fact, it might just be that the time is not right. And if the time was right, it would be here. So why do we fight with ourselves so hard to rush things, to race to the next goal, and then feel like when we get there, we just assign another goalpost, something else that we want. And then we feel like we have to rush to that thing. And we feel like we have to get everything right now. But if we had everything right now, there would be nothing to be done. There would be nothing to enjoy in life. There would be no process to things. Sometimes the time is what makes it enjoyable, is what makes it worthwhile. And that's not to say that we should just be sitting there waiting, doing nothing and expecting it to come. But it is to say that if you are acting from a place of impatience or distrust, then that could be the blocker. You feeling like it's not already there. Because if you knew it was there wouldn't be that panic sensation. You wouldn't be feeling like you need to rush there, because the reason why you are rushing, the reason why you are pursuing it so hard and working so hard to get it, is because you feel like if you don't, then it won't be there, then you won't get it. And that is a place of distrust. That is a place of anxiety, feeling like we need to be on overdrive in order for it to come. A lot of us believe that our lives need to be difficult, that we need to be struggling, that we need to be fighting all the time, when there's no reason, there's no universal law that means that that should happen. That if you're not stressed out or fighting for your life or fighting for what you want, then you don't get it. That isn't a prerequisite to getting what you want. And if you truly knew that what you want is already yours, you wouldn't feel like you need to be stressed about it or worry about whether or not it will happen, because you would know in certainty that it's going to happen, and that all you need to do is trust the process, and when it is ready, it will come. It's like if you were late, or if you were planning to get somewhere for a specific time, right? And you were looking at the journey and you could see ahead of time exactly how that journey would unfold. You could see that there was no traffic, all the lights were green when you get there, and you arrive perfectly on time. You wouldn't have that sensation of feeling really rushed and panicking and feeling like you have to do this and do that and do this in order to get there. Because you would see the journey and you'd be like, oh, okay, I know I'm going to arrive at my destination on time and there's no need to panic about it. But because there are those unknowns that we worry about, we think, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if there's a huge traffic jam? Or what if I get stuck at all the lights? Or what if the car breaks down? What if all of these things? And that gives us that anxiety. That gives us that pressure, that need to rush. Whereas if we go on the journey, being like, I will arrive at the destination exactly at the time that I'm meant to arrive, there would be none of that worry. There would be none of that anxiety. And that's where the trust comes in. Because we don't know the variables. We don't know the unknowns. So we have to trust that things will happen as they are meant to happen. The timing of things will work out as they need to. And let go of that need to control, let go of that feeling that we can do something about it. Because in reality, even if we leave really, really early, does this guarantee that we're going to get to the destination on time? Does it guarantee that we're going to get to the destination at all? No. None of that is a certainty. But we create this false idea of certainty, that we can control as many elements as possible and that will almost guarantee the outcome. But in reality, it doesn't guarantee anything. Nothing is more secure for you feeling like you've controlled things. It just gives you some peace of mind. But that peace of mind is irrelevant if you have the trust. If you can let go, if you can relinquish that feeling of needing to rush, needing to pursue, needing to control, and just breathe, let go of the control and trust. Trust that things will work out. Trust the timing. trust that things will go as they are meant to go, then not only will things happen as they are meant to happen, they will also happen without you feeling like you need to force them, without all of the stress, without all of that suffering that you have put yourself through. None of that is necessary. We only believe it's necessary because it gives us a sense that we are in control, that we are actively doing something. Like, just because we're worrying about something, that means we're actively working towards it, when that's not true. If I say, okay, I'm going to leave and I'll get there when I get there, and someone else says, I need to leave really early, and they prepare hours beforehand, and you were to watch us side by side, you would see us get there both in plenty of time. You would see that the person who was stressed out, they hit red lights the whole way, there was traffic for them, and they were so stressed the entire time, worrying that they weren't going to get there, and then they end up getting there 30 minutes early anyway. And then you see the other side of that, where I just go with ease and peace and trust, and you'll see that everything just works out, that the lights are all green, there's no traffic. And you can say, well, what if it's not? What if there is traffic and you haven't prepared in time? You haven't left with enough window so that if something does go wrong, you're not prepared. And I say to that, okay, then I was never meant to get there on time. Then that wasn't the right journey for me. If I don't get there, if I miss it, if I'm late, that's what was meant to happen. Because if it wasn't, I would be there on time. I would be there at exactly the moment that I needed to be there. And my false sense of control will not change that. And I'm not worried about it. I'm not concerning myself with it anymore. There's literally no need, because you can't force it and you can't control it. The only thing that you can do is trust that it will work out exactly as it needs to. Thank you for listening.